Hi, Guillaume. Thank you so much for helping my project. Could you say a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Hi, Nathan. So my name is Guillaume. Um, uh, I'm in my 50s. I am married. I have three kids, all left home for college or for their professional life. Great family. Live in California. Been in living in California for 16 years now. 16 years ago, I was living in Paris with my family. Still same family. My kids were 2 years old, 5 and 8 years old when we moved here, and now they are these plus 16. So this is all good. I worked at Anaplan, where you and I worked together for some of the great years, of the Anaplan history. And yeah, that's who I am, and I'm always willing to help my friends and ex-colleagues like you. So I'm happy to be answering a few questions for you.
I appreciate that. Well, the first question I had for you is, did you know that NASA is planning to send astronauts back to the moon?
I did not.
Well, now that you've heard about it, any initial reactions? What do you think? Good thing, bad thing, something different?
Well, I think my reaction was, what for? And beyond that reaction, you know how, energy saving, global warming issues is in everyone's head right now. I was literally thinking, going to the moon to help solve this, climate situation crisis we're in. If that helps, fantastic idea. Go ahead, let's do it. If not, I would be more skeptical on why we do that, for just doing it because it's cool, right? Like, in the 60s, when the US sent someone to the moon for the first time, that was fantastic. That was like, hey, this country is number one, and this is proving it. But that was back in the 60s. Now nobody doubts we can do it. And sending people to the moon for leisure or travel, or I don't think this is a good idea. Sending people to the moon for science research to help solve this climate change problem. If that's the case, then I'm all for it. If not, I'm like, what for? So maybe you tell me what for.
Well, before going into that, I'd like to find out from you whenever you think about the future of humanity, say like 200 years in the future, do you think we are only here on the Earth, or do you think humans have expanded beyond the Earth?
I'm a kind of a rational guy, and I don't believe there is human outside of Earth just because of the physical limitation that that human requires, for food and air and breathing and temperature and drinking and everything. So not on the moon for sure, not on Mars. Of course, I don't know if the other planets have, you know, gravity and resources for human to live. I never heard of that. I don't know any of a lot of of it in that area, but I highly doubt it.
Yeah, I mean, humans would definitely have to live inside of, kind of facilities that
Yeah.
were artificial, for sure. I mean, in terms of living out on the surface, that would be um, not possible of any planet that we have now, that we know about. Um, well, uh, I don't know. Did you know that Jeff Bezos has a space company?
I did not. I thought it was only Elon.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos has a space company called Blue Origin, and a few years ago he was giving a talk about why he had created it, and he talked about um, wanting to create the infrastructure that would allow for us to move all of the earth harming activities like the power production, mining, heavy industry, uh, off of the earth into space, so that then we could use, kind of zone earth as being just for life and just for maybe light industry.
Mm.
And I know that seems like a fantastical vision considering kind of how small our efforts in space has been so far, and the uh, it looking like it's very prohibitive to do those activities in space economically. But if we kind of think in this future world, do you think that's a worthy goal to um, try to protect the Earth by being able to do those other activities off of the Earth?
Well, are you still here? Are you back?
I got disconnected there for a second.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got my question.
Yeah, I got,
I could repeat it.
yeah, no, I got your question. Your question is, do you think it's a good idea to export this production outside of Earth into an area where it's not harming Earth anymore? And my answer is, oh my God, I know so little into the consequences of doing that, that, I mean, on the paper, why not? I would say. Now, we're polluting the Earth and we know the consequence. If we go pollute the universe, the space, do we know the consequence, right? So if we can know precisely enough what consequences could be, and then we make a wisely decision based on facts and data and not, autocracy or whatever, then if that decision makes sense, then of course we should do that, because uh, Earth doesn't have resources for enough, in 200 years for supporting the growth of its people, right? We are like 8 billion right now. And I think like 20 or 30 years ago, we were, 4 billions or 3 billions, at that cadence, even in 50 years, we're going to be 15 billions, and the Earth is not going to support the resource and provide the resource for all these people. So we have to find something. Now, doing some mining and finding new resources, it's not going to be in space, right? It's going to have to be on another planet, right? So there is so many questions, like how do you bring how do you bring those resources back to Earth? How do you transport that? Uh, of course, rejecting carbon emissions in space instead of in the atmosphere looks better for the atmosphere, no doubt about that. But how realistic is that is really the question mark I have, right? I'm very skeptical on. I mean, it's going to be in 200 years from now, so who knows what can change in so much time, and maybe by that time we can invent stuff like that. But right now, I said every no idea is good to look at. Decisions to do it should be responsible, and whatever it provides should provide the same for everyone, right? It's not because you are rich or Jeff Bezos' friend or in Elon Musk network that you benefit from these, and if you're not, you don't. That would be bad. So with these people, I mean, I have nothing against Musk or Jeff Bezos. I mean, they are who they are, and they've done what they've done. So I'm not judging, but they rarely do things for free. So what's in there for us versus what's in there for humanity is also a questions I might have, and I think questions everybody might have. So it becomes much. I mean, this is a philosophical questions as well as a ethical question as well as a technical questions, and there are many answers, and doing it has to resolve for all those different topics and make sure democracies are okay with doing it, right? Investing resources to do it, and then once you have done it, operate it, manage the consequence, distribute equally. That's what come up to my mind. I never thought of it. That's the first time I'm hearing about it, Nathan. So, so that's what I'm thinking. You're on mute.
Yeah, that's a reasonable answer coming up with it so quick, actually. Um, so I really appreciate that. But you were asking me about why we're going back to the moon. I think there's a lot of reasons why we're doing it. The science is there for sure. You also have like the social issues. The last time we went to the moon, we had 12 white people walk on the moon, 12 white men walk on the moon. This time we're sending the first woman and the first person of color. Um, but also, I think the International Space Station, which has been a joint project of 15 countries, including Russia, and we've been managing on day-to-day with Russia, even though we have other conflicts down here. But whenever we first landed on the moon, Neil Armstrong was like, we do this for all mankind, but it was a completely American enterprise. This time, we're going back as a joint project with Europe, with Japan, with Canada, and including other countries in that too. So I feel like there's some benefit to have a joint international project that inspires people and that helps us to learn, kind of like what's out there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. I
But
forgot to ask you.
If you could, oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're doing those interviews, I guess, with your friends, your ex co-worker or current co-worker, whoever. What maybe I should have asked before. What are you going to do with these recordings? What's the goal behind that?
Well, so I have a website, countdowntothemoon.org, where I've been publishing each one unedited since I started the project in 2019. Yeah. And in terms of like an end goal, I don't really have one other than I'm counting down to the end of 2024. So my goal is just to complete the project. And what I probably will do is just let it sit for a few years and then come back and look at the interviews and maybe see how people's views have changed and kind of look at the range of views that we've had. So, I mean, I started this project pre-COVID as well. Like in December 2019, no one had heard about COVID. And then, through these daily reviews, I think I've captured a little bit of sort of the transition and the development and rollout and recovery from that process as well.
Okay, got it.
So I don't have a good answer there.
Sorry, you broke
But
up.
I feel like I said I don't have a really good answer for the purpose of this project. Then I got it started and I've done it consistently every day since then. So I feel like I have to see it all the way to the end at this point.
Okay.
But if you could, would you take a trip to space?
Well, I don't know. Again, what for? And right now, I'm counting on. Right now, I'm trying to reduce my travel to France, to home, because of the carbon footprint. And this is San Francisco to Paris that I'm talking about. So the carbon footprint of going to the moon might be, you know, 1,000,000 times that. So I'm not sure I would want to do it. I think
But what if you
I
could
have
take a
enough.
rocket from what if you could take a rocket from San Francisco to Paris and it got you there in 30 minutes?
Again, same questions. If the carbon footprint is reasonable, sure. That would be fantastic. Like teletransportation would be fantastic, but what how realistic is that? You know,
I know that it's really kind of amazing to think about walking into a room in one place of the world and then walking out in a completely different place. I mean, uh, I don't even know how you can make that happen. But I will tell you on a daily basis that appears to happen with elevators.
yeah. Elevators, yes, going from floor 2 to floor 3. Yeah. All right, Nathan.
uh, yeah,
I get an appointment that's going to start soon. I need to prepare. Do you have any other questions for me?
that's it. Thank you so much. And I hope to be in touch and learn more about what you're doing. Anyway, I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. You too. Thank you, Nathan. Good to see you. Good to hear from you.
Bye bye.